Ladies and gentlemen, I want to share with you a truth that can transform your life. Faith is not just a religious concept. It is a powerful force that shapes destinies, opens doors, and turns impossibilities into realities. Some of you are waiting for things to change before you believe, but I want to tell you, belief comes first. The greatest victories in life are not won by sight, but by faith. The most successful people are not those who have it all figured out, but those who trust God, even when they don't see the full picture. Faith is the foundation of success. Every breakthrough, every miracle, every great achievement starts with a person who dares to believe in something bigger than themselves. When you put your trust in God, you are not relying on human strength. You are tapping into divine power. Now, let me ask you, what challenges are you facing today? What dreams seem impossible? Maybe you've been struggling for years, waiting for a breakthrough, wondering when things will change. Let me remind you, faith turns obstacles into opportunities. What looks like a setback is often God's way of setting you up for something greater. But faith is not just believing with your mind. It is moving with confidence. It is speaking words of life when everything looks dead. It is stepping out when nothing makes sense. Some of you have been praying for change, but faith requires action. Faith without works is dead. If you believe God has called you to something great, start moving. The moment you activate your faith, divine provision is released. You don't have to chase after blessings. When you walk in faith, blessings will chase after you. The right connections, resources, and opportunities will align when you trust in God's timing. My friends, faith is the bridge between your vision and reality. If you can see it in your spirit, you can hold it in your hands. Don't let fear stop you. Don't let doubt paralyze you. The very thing you are believing for is closer than you think. But you must step out in faith. Faith is what gives you stability in times of uncertainty. The world is unstable. Economies rise and fall. People come and go. But those who trust in God will never be shaken. When the world is in crisis, those who walk by faith rise above. Today, I challenge you. Stop waiting for perfect conditions and start believing now. Start declaring that your best days are ahead. Start moving toward your dreams. Start trusting that God's plan for you is greater than anything you can imagine. When you have faith in God, everything will fall into place. Doors will open, opportunities will come, miracles will happen. But you must believe before you see. Faith does not mean passively waiting, it means actively preparing. When you trust that God has a purpose for you, you start living differently. You speak with confidence, you move with boldness, and you take steps toward what He has placed in your heart. You stop questioning whether things will work out and start believing that they already have. Faith aligns your thoughts, words, and actions with God's purpose. And when that alignment happens, breakthroughs begin to follow. Faith also keeps you grounded in times of uncertainty. Life is unpredictable, but God's plan remains unshaken. People who live by faith are not moved by temporary setbacks because they know their future is secure in God's hands. When others panic, they remain calm. When others give up, they keep going. Faith gives you the ability to endure because you know that what God has promised will come to pass. The question is not whether His plan will unfold. It is whether you will trust Him enough to walk in it. The greatest gift faith gives is clarity. While others are confused about their purpose, those who trust in God have a deep sense of direction. They know they were created for something bigger than themselves, and they refuse to settle for less than His best. When you have faith in God, you no longer chase after empty pursuits. You walk confidently in His divine plan, knowing that everything is falling into place as it should. Success in life does not begin with talent, resources, or opportunities. It begins with faith. Before anything great is accomplished, before any vision becomes a reality, before any breakthrough happens, there must first be belief. Faith is the foundation upon which everything else is built. Without faith, people remain stuck, hesitant, and uncertain. They may have dreams, but doubt keeps them from moving forward. They may have goals, but fear keeps them from pursuing them. Faith is the force that separates those who succeed from those who simply wish for success. Faith is not just about believing in a higher power. It is about believing that the plans of God for your life are real, achievable, and already set in motion. Many people struggle to see success because they base their actions on what they can see rather than what they believe. They look at their circumstances and decide whether something is possible based on their resources, abilities, or past experiences. But faith operates on a different level. It is the ability to see beyond what is present and into what is possible. It allows you to declare victory even when nothing around you looks victorious. Every great achievement in history started with someone who had faith. The world's most successful people are not necessarily the smartest, richest, or most talented. They are the ones who had the courage to believe in something before it became visible. They saw possibilities when others saw limitations. They moved forward when others hesitated. What separated them was not their skill, but their confidence in what they could not yet see. The same principle applies to every area of life. Whether it is in business, relationships, health, or personal growth, faith is the foundation of success. If a person does not believe they can succeed, they will not take the necessary steps to make it happen. Doubt leads to hesitation, and hesitation leads to failure. But when someone has faith, they act with boldness. They take risks. They step into opportunities that others shy away from. Faith gives them the strength to keep going, even when obstacles arise, because they are convinced that success is inevitable. Faith is also the key to resilience. Life is full of challenges, and setbacks are inevitable. Those who lack faith will see obstacles as reasons to quit, but those who walk by faith see obstacles as stepping stones. They understand that failures are not permanent. They are simply lessons. When faith is the foundation, difficulties do not break a person, they build them. Every setback becomes fuel for a comeback. Every disappointment becomes an opportunity for growth. People of faith refuse to let circumstances define their future because they know that God's promises are greater than any temporary difficulty. Another reason faith is the foundation of success is that it attracts the right opportunities. When someone truly believes that their vision will come to pass, they begin to align their thoughts, words, and actions with that belief. They prepare for success before it happens. They position themselves for the right doors to open. This is not wishful thinking. It is a principle that governs life. People who expect great things begin to speak, act, and think differently. They carry themselves with confidence, and as a result, they attract opportunities that others miss. Faith also changes the way a person sees themselves. Many people fail not because they lack potential, but because they do not believe in their own God-given abilities. They focus on their weaknesses instead of their strengths. They dwell on past failures instead of future possibilities. But faith shifts that perspective. It allows a person to see themselves as capable, worthy, and destined for success. It removes the mental barriers that keep people stuck and replaces them with a mindset of victory. Ultimately, success does not come to those who wait for perfect conditions. It comes to those who believe and move forward despite uncertainty. The person who walks by faith is already ahead because they are operating on a level beyond logic and circumstances. They are not waiting for everything to align before they start. They start, and everything aligns as they go. That is why faith is the foundation of success. It is the invisible force that turns dreams into reality, ideas into accomplishments, and visions into legacies. Obstacles are a natural part of life, and everyone faces challenges on the journey towards success. However, what separates those who overcome from those who give up is faith. Faith has the power to transform obstacles into opportunities, turning what seems like a setback into a setup for something greater. When a person walks by faith, they no longer see problems as roadblocks, but as stepping stones leading to a higher purpose. They recognize that every challenge is an invitation to trust God more deeply and to grow in ways they never imagined. Many people allow obstacles to define them. When they encounter difficulties, they assume it is a sign that they should stop, give up, or change direction. They let fear take over and allow doubt to dictate their decisions. But faith gives a different perspective. Instead of seeing difficulties as barriers, faith enables a person to view them as opportunities for growth and transformation. Every successful person has encountered adversity, but what made the difference was their ability to see beyond the challenge and recognize the hidden opportunity within it. Faith shifts the way obstacles are perceived. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" a person of faith asks, "What can I learn from this? How can this situation make me stronger?" This mindset opens doors that would otherwise remain closed. Some of the greatest innovations, breakthroughs, and success stories came from individuals who refused to let obstacles defeat them. They chose to push through, believing that something greater was on the other side. Obstacles often come disguised as failure, disappointment, or delay. When a dream seems to fall apart, it is easy to think that all hope is lost. But faith allows a person to trust that setbacks are not the end of the story. Many times, what looks like a failure is actually a redirection towards something better. The path to success is rarely a straight line. It is full of twists, turns, and unexpected detours. Those who walk by faith understand that every obstacle serves a purpose. One of the greatest examples of faith transforming obstacles into opportunities is found in the lives of people who have faced rejection and still succeeded. Many of the world's most accomplished individuals were told no countless times before they achieved their dreams. They faced financial struggles, personal losses, and seemingly insurmountable challenges. But instead of quitting, they persisted. Their faith in their vision and in God's plan gave them the strength to keep moving forward. Faith also provides the courage to take risks. Fear of failure keeps many people from stepping into their destiny, but faith eliminates that fear. When a person truly believes that God is guiding them, they no longer hesitate to take bold steps. They understand that even if things do not go as planned, God is still in control. Every obstacle they face is simply another opportunity for Him to show His power. Another way faith transforms obstacles is by changing a person's internal dialogue. Words are powerful, and the way a person speaks about their situation determines how they experience it. Those who speak words of defeat will feel defeated, but those who declare victory will begin to see breakthroughs. Faithful individuals do not dwell on negativity. They speak life into their circumstances. They declare that challenges will not stop them, but instead make them stronger. Faith also strengthens perseverance. Many people give up too soon because they allow difficulties to wear them down. But those who have faith understand that endurance is part of the process. They refuse to be discouraged by temporary setbacks because they trust that God's plan is still unfolding. They know that every test they endure prepares them for the blessing that is coming. Ultimately, faith is the difference between being crushed by obstacles and using them as fuel for success. It allows a person to stand firm when everything around them says to quit. It helps them see opportunities where others see impossibilities. Faith turns losses into lessons, trials into testimonies, and obstacles into open doors. Those who embrace this truth will find that the very things meant to stop them will instead propel them forward into their destiny. Faith is a powerful force that activates divine provision. Many people spend their lives chasing after resources, opportunities, and success, believing that they must struggle to make things happen. However, when a person walks by faith, they step into a different reality, one where provision follows purpose. Faith aligns an individual with God's divine plan, and when a person is in alignment with His will, everything they need begins to fall into place. Instead of striving endlessly, they experience supernatural provision, where the right doors open at the right time and resources come from unexpected places. Faith operates on the principle that God is the ultimate provider. Throughout history, people who trusted in God found themselves receiving provision in miraculous ways. This does not mean that faith replaces hard work, but rather that faith ensures that hard work is directed in the right places. Many people struggle, not because they lack effort, but because they are relying solely on their own strength. They believe that success is entirely dependent on their abilities, and as a result they experience stress, anxiety, and exhaustion. But faith shifts the focus from self-dependence to God-dependence. It acknowledges that while effort is necessary, ultimate success comes from divine favor. Faith also removes the fear of lack. One of the biggest reasons people hold back from pursuing their dreams is the fear of not having enough. Enough money, enough resources, enough connections. They delay their purpose because they do not see how things will work out. But faith does not require sight. It requires trust. A person who walks by faith does not wait for all the resources to be in place before moving forward. They move forward, believing that provision will follow. This is why many people who step out in faith find that what they need shows up at just the right moment. They do not have to chase after blessings because faith attracts provision. Faith also shifts the way a person views challenges. Many people see financial struggles or limited opportunities as signs that they should give up. They believe that if things are difficult, it must mean they are on the wrong path. But faith teaches a different perspective. Sometimes, lack is a test of trust. God does not always provide everything in advance because faith is about believing before seeing. A person who understands this does not panic in times of uncertainty. They remain confident, knowing that provision is on its way. They do not allow temporary scarcity to discourage them because they understand that God is their source, not their job, not the economy, not their personal connections. Faith also brings creativity and innovation. When a person trusts in divine provision, they begin to see opportunities that others overlook. Many times, provision does not come in the form of immediate wealth, but in the form of ideas, connections, and insights that lead to abundance. Some of the most successful individuals are those who trusted God in seasons of lack and allowed their faith to open doors that seemed impossible. Faith expands the mind and removes limitations, allowing a person to tap into resources they never considered before. Another way faith activates divine provision is through generosity. People who live by faith understand that giving is a principle that leads to receiving. They do not operate with a scarcity mindset, but with an abundance mindset. They give freely, knowing that whatever they release will come back to them multiplied. This is a key difference between those who struggle and those who thrive. People who believe in lack hold on tightly to everything they have, fearing they will run out. But those who trust in divine provision give freely, knowing that God always replenishes. Faith also brings peace in times of uncertainty. While others worry about the future, those who trust in God rest in the assurance that their needs will be met. They do not waste energy stressing over finances or resources because they know that provision is already being arranged. This peace allows them to focus on their purpose instead of being consumed by worry. They can make decisions with confidence, knowing that even if they do not see the answer yet, it is already on the way. Ultimately, faith eliminates the struggle of constantly trying to control everything. It replaces anxiety with assurance and striving with surrender. When a person truly believes that God is their provider, they stop chasing after things and start walking in purpose. As they do, they find that provision is not something they have to fight for. It is something that follows them wherever they go. Many people live their lives in a constant state of worry, questioning whether they are on the right path or making the right decisions. They hesitate, overthink, and second-guess themselves, which often leads to missed opportunities and unfulfilled potential. Faith, however, brings clarity. When a person has faith in God, they no longer live in confusion or doubt because they trust that their steps are being guided. Faith removes uncertainty and replaces it with confidence, allowing a person to move forward with purpose and direction. Clarity is essential for success. Without it, people wander aimlessly, unsure of what to pursue or which choices to make. Many individuals waste years trying to figure out their purpose, making decisions based on temporary circumstances instead of long-term vision. But faith provides a deep sense of direction. It connects a person to God's plan, which is always greater than their own. When someone trusts in God's guidance, they no longer feel lost or unsure. They begin to see their path clearly and understand that everything in their life is unfolding according to divine timing. Faith also eliminates the fear of making mistakes. One of the biggest reasons people struggle with decision-making is the fear of failure. They worry about choosing the wrong career, entering the wrong relationship, or missing out on a great opportunity. This fear can lead to paralysis, where they do nothing at all. But faith reassures them that even if they make a wrong turn, God has the power to redirect them. Faith provides the confidence to take action without fear, knowing that mistakes do not define a person. Growth does. When a person walks by faith, they begin to see beyond their immediate situation. Many people make decisions based on what is in front of them, rather than what is ahead. They choose comfort over purpose, security over calling, and familiarity over destiny. But faith allows a person to operate with vision. It helps them recognize that temporary challenges are not indicators of long-term failure. A person of faith does not quit when things get difficult because they understand that their current situation is only a step towards something greater. Faith also provides peace in times of uncertainty. Life is unpredictable, and no one has all the answers. However, when a person has faith, they are not shaken by the unknown. They do not need to see the full picture to take the next step. Instead of worrying about what they cannot control, they focus on what they know. God's plan is always for their good. This trust brings a level of clarity that cannot be achieved through logic alone. Ultimately, faith allows a person to move forward without hesitation. They stop waiting for perfect conditions and start acting on what they believe. They no longer feel stuck or directionless because they know they are being led. Clarity is not about having every answer in advance. It is about trusting that each step will be revealed at the right time. When a person has faith, they walk with certainty, knowing that they are exactly where they are meant to be. Faith is not just a spiritual concept. It is a transformative force that changes the way a person thinks, speaks, and acts. When someone truly believes in God's plan for their life, their mindset shifts from doubt to confidence, from fear to boldness, and from hesitation to action. This shift is critical because success in any area of life starts in the mind. The way a person thinks determines the way they live. Faithful individuals approach life differently because they no longer see limitations. They see possibilities. One of the greatest effects of faith is that it eliminates a negative mindset. Many people struggle with self-doubt, insecurity, and fear of failure. They talk themselves out of opportunities before even trying, believing that they are not qualified, not capable, or not worthy. This kind of thinking keeps them stuck in the same place, year after year. However, faith renews the mind. It replaces fear with confidence and scarcity with abundance. A person who walks by faith speaks differently. Instead of saying, "I can't do this," they say, "With God all things are possible." Instead of saying, "I don't have enough," they say, God will provide. This change in words comes from a deeper change in belief. Faith also breaks the cycle of limited thinking. Many people settle for less than what they are capable of, because they cannot see beyond their current circumstances. They believe that where they are now is where they will always be. But faith expands vision. It allows a person to see beyond their present struggles and into a future filled with purpose and success. When someone truly believes in God's plan, they stop settling, they stop accepting mediocrity. They begin to aim higher, think bigger, and expect more because they understand that they were created for something greater. Another powerful effect of faith is that it strengthens perseverance. Life is full of challenges, and many people give up too soon because they do not have the mental strength to keep going. They face obstacles and assume that these difficulties mean they are on the wrong path. But faith changes the way a person responds to setbacks. Instead of quitting, they push forward. Instead of being discouraged, they remain hopeful. They understand that every struggle is part of the process and that God is using every difficulty to prepare them for something greater. Faith does not remove challenges, but it gives the strength to overcome them. Faith also creates boldness. Many people hesitate to step out of their comfort zones because they are afraid of failure. They wait for perfect conditions before taking action, but as a result, they miss opportunities. Faith removes hesitation. A person who walks by faith does not wait for everything to be in place before moving forward. They trust that as they take steps, the right doors will open. This kind of boldness attracts success because action is always rewarded more than inaction. Ultimately, faith transforms the mind by replacing doubt with confidence, limitations with possibilities, and hesitation with boldness. A renewed mind leads to renewed actions, and renewed actions lead to a transformed life. When faith is strong, fear has no power, and success becomes inevitable. Faith is a powerful force that strengthens relationships, not just with God, but also with people. When someone lives by faith, they develop deeper trust, greater patience, and a stronger sense of purpose in their connections with others. Many relationships struggle because they are built on insecurity, fear, or selfishness. But faith changes the foundation. It replaces fear with love, doubt with trust, and uncertainty with confidence. A person who has faith in God understands that relationships are not just about personal gain, but about purpose and divine connection. One of the most important ways faith strengthens relationships is by teaching trust. Many relationships fail because of a lack of trust. People are afraid of being hurt, betrayed, or abandoned. This fear leads to jealousy, control, and insecurity, which ultimately damage relationships. But faith removes the need for fear. When a person truly believes that God is in control, they no longer feel the need to control everything themselves. They trust that God will bring the right people into their life and remove the wrong ones. This trust allows them to love freely without fear of rejection or disappointment. Faith also creates patience, which is essential in any relationship. Many conflicts arise because people expect instant results. They want immediate change, instant forgiveness, or immediate understanding. But faith teaches that everything happens in God's timing. A person who walks by faith is willing to wait, to be patient, and to allow growth to happen naturally. They do not force relationships to fit their expectations, but trust that things will unfold as they should. This patience brings peace into relationships because it removes pressure and anxiety. Another way faith strengthens relationships is by promoting selflessness. Many people enter relationships with a mindset of, "What can I get out of this?" instead of, "What can I give?" This selfish approach leads to disappointment and frustration because no relationship can survive when both people are only focused on their own needs. Faith shifts this perspective. It teaches that relationships are about serving, giving, and adding value to others. A person who walks by faith understands that true love is not about taking, but about giving. This mindset leads to deeper, more meaningful connections. Faith also helps people overcome misunderstandings and conflicts. No relationship is perfect, and disagreements are inevitable. However, faith teaches forgiveness, grace, and understanding. A person who trusts in God does not hold grudges or allow bitterness to take root. They understand that forgiveness is not just for the other person, it is also for their own peace. Faith allows them to let go of past hurts and move forward with love and understanding. Finally, faith gives relationships purpose. Many relationships fail because they lack direction. People connect based on temporary feelings rather than a shared vision. But when faith is at the center, relationships become more than just companionship. They become partnerships in fulfilling a greater purpose. A person who walks by faith seeks relationships that align with their destiny. They are not just looking for someone to spend time with, but for someone to build with. Ultimately, faith transforms relationships by creating trust, patience, selflessness, forgiveness, and purpose. It removes fear, strengthens love, and ensures that connections are built on something greater than emotions. They are built on divine principles. When faith is the foundation, relationships become stronger, deeper, and more fulfilling. Faith is the key to living a life filled with peace and joy, even in the midst of uncertainty. Many people go through life burdened by stress, anxiety, and fear of the unknown. They worry about their future, their finances, their relationships, and their purpose. This constant worry drains their energy and robs them of the ability to enjoy life. However, faith changes everything. When a person truly trusts in God, they no longer carry unnecessary burdens. They live with a sense of peace, knowing that everything is under divine control. This peace allows them to experience genuine joy, regardless of their circumstances. One of the biggest reasons people struggle to find peace is because they try to control everything. They believe that their success, happiness, and security depend entirely on their own efforts. While hard work and responsibility are important, relying solely on human effort creates stress. Faith, on the other hand, shifts the focus from self-reliance to God's guidance. A person who walks by faith understands that they do not have to figure everything out on their own. They trust that God has a plan and that everything will work out according to His perfect timing. This trust eliminates anxiety and replaces it with confidence. Faith also allows a person to embrace life with joy, even when things do not go as planned. Many people allow their happiness to be dictated by external circumstances. When things go well, they are happy. When things fall apart, they become discouraged. This makes them emotionally unstable, constantly shifting between joy and despair. But a person who trusts in God does not depend on circumstances for their happiness. They find joy in the journey, knowing that every experience, good or bad, is part of a greater purpose. Their joy is not based on what they have, but on who they are in God. Another way faith brings peace and joy is by removing the fear of failure. Many people are afraid to take risks, make decisions, or step out of their comfort zones because they fear making mistakes. This fear paralyzes them, keeping them from living life to the fullest. But faith replaces fear with boldness. A person who walks by faith understands that, even if they stumble, God will lift them up. They no longer live in fear of making the wrong choice, because they trust that God can turn mistakes into lessons and failures into stepping stones for success. Faith also fosters gratitude, which is one of the greatest sources of joy. People who lack faith often focus on what they do not have, leading to feelings of dissatisfaction and frustration. But faith shifts the focus to what has already been provided. A person of faith sees blessings where others see lack. They appreciate the small things, celebrate progress, and remain hopeful for the future. This gratitude creates lasting joy that cannot be shaken by temporary challenges. Ultimately, faith allows a person to live freely, unburdened by worry and fear. It brings peace by assuring them that they are not alone and that they do not have to have all the answers. It brings joy by allowing them to trust the process and embrace life with confidence. When faith is strong, stress disappears, and life becomes an exciting journey filled with purpose, contentment, and hope. Thank you all, people.